So I just made a massive error. I was going to do my first ever live YouTube video. And I was all ready. I waited for the right moment. So it wasn't too dark in the tunnel. I was like, right, I'm walking to work at a friend's office today. It's going to be great. I'll do a YouTube live video. First one I've ever done. Press the button to go live. Ready in 24 hours. Your account must be activated for the 24-hour live video stream. It'll take 24 hours for it to activate. So I just figure I'll make a video instead and upload it. So this one will be forever. I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do on the live video. So we're in for a journey. Hello, mate. I will say, I'm relatively new to YouTube, right? And it does take a while, it does take a minute to adjust to filming landscape on your phone, landscape in public. Because everyone thinks, if you're turning it portrait mode, it looks like you're FaceTiming and is now accepted. Thanks to COVID, everyone FaceTimes, which I don't understand why. I had a Zoom meeting the other day and I'm like, mate, this could have been a phone call. Well, we got to run between Wi-Fi and download and delete and up. Just give us a call. COVID sucked for the world, but there's also this weird follow-on of we need a Zoom meeting. We don't. Just text me, you know? Anyway, if society sees you filming yourself in a portrait mode, it's accepted. But when it's landscape, you look a bit more weird. So my YouTube journey is taking a while to get used to. I did work in TV for many years. If you're watching this for the first time and you don't know who I am or what I've done, I was in television for many years on 2 kid shows for 7 years. And I got really used to it. It gets awkward when you're filming in public and people are always like, what are you bloody taking photos of, mate? You're here to bloody filming. No, we're not filming you. But you get used to it. And I haven't done that for years, so it's taken a while to get used to. And there's a walking group behind me and they're going to be listening to everything I say. By the way, I'm going to upload this whole video. I'm not going to do any editing because I had it in my mind to do a live. And I'll be honest, I don't love editing. That's why if you watch some of my videos, they're not very well edited. That's not my strong suit. My strong suit is putting the mic, turning on the camera and just go and fly by the seat of my pants and see what happens. So I was in television for years and then I left television because I discovered that my real passion was radio, breakfast radio. So I quit my job and I moved to another city and I really pursued doing breakfast radio. And that was a really hard time in my life. That's where I discovered depression. That's where my whole world came crumbling down because since I was 18 working in a full-time job on television, I was a bit of a big fish in a small pond. Oh my gosh, I need to start running again. I'm puffed just walking and talking. Oh yeah, and I've got Tourette syndrome. So I moved to a city, I pursued breakfast radio and I got depressed and my whole world crumbled down. I had to learn how to, because I had a really big ego because I had a job at 18 on television, national television. My ego was pretty big. So I had to rebuild myself. I had to build myself back up and I had to learn how to not have an ego and overcome my depressive state and really build my mental health. So I was mentally healthy. And then I got a radio job and it was awesome. And I loved it. I was working in radio for 5 years, hosting breakfast shows all around Australia. And I loved it. It was the best job ever. Then COVID hit. And I moved back with my parents and got on the dole. So now I'm a keynote speaker. So I go all over the country in Australia and I give talks in schools, businesses, conferences. I do workshops And I've obviously started a YouTube channel as well. If you watch a video that was done, I think it was the last one before this, I dressed up as Batman and I went to my nephew's 3rd birthday and I was like puffing and huffing and I was like, and I realized, because I've been working for myself for the last 1.5 years, and when you work for yourself, you work really hard. And I'd wake up and I'd just work for 12 hours straight, like not even getting off the computer and just going really, really hard. And then I've kind of noticed that I've neglected my health and I've neglected my body. So every time I get out of my car, I'm like, so I really need to jump back on the fitness wagon because I've been walking for 6 minutes and I'm like, I was thinking about starting a playlist on this channel of my fitness journey because I've always had this really great idea to not sign up to a gym, but spend a year going to trials all over Brisbane, like going to trial gyms, going to like do martial art courses, exercise courses, yoga, whatever, but never paying for a whole year. I came up with that this morning as a potential YouTube playlist. So if I follow through with it, watch this space. So I'll tell you about my Tourette syndrome. So I've got Tourette's. Tourette syndrome is a neurological condition made up of tics, motor and vocal tics. You got to have both motor and vocal to be classified as Tourette's. And I actually had dinner with my brother the other night, and I've always known he's had tics, so he doesn't have Tourette's. He's got like the one below it, which is called something like excessive tic disorder, I think. First of all, I don't love these words. And now this can be controversial to some people watching who are disabled. I don't like the word disability. I don't like the word disorder. And I also don't like the word comorbidity. So underneath Tourette syndrome, there are comorbidities. So I've got ADHD, which is considered a comorbidity. I just don't like those words because my whole message, my whole point, my whole motive, my why I'm doing this, why I'm a keynote speaker, why I speak in schools to students, to businesses, to staff, at conferences, the whole reason is to say, hey, listen, just because you've been dealt a certain card, it doesn't mean it's going to stop you from playing. I just don't like the idea that disability means you can't do something. I understand that if you're in a wheelchair, yes, you cannot walk. But I just don't like the idea that it caps your potential. It doesn't mean you can't achieve. It doesn't mean you can't live out your goals. And I personally don't like them. And I know some people have actually spoken to me about it and said, hey, listen, like we like that word. We're trying to claim it back. It's, we're owning it. And that's great. Awesome. Whatever makes you feel great. Awesome. I just don't like them. I don't know. I think words are very, very powerful. And I think the way you talk about yourself and the meanings behind those words, it can affect you. So I'm really big on like using powerful language to make you feel better, I think. Because in my mental health journey, I used to talk really poorly about myself in my own head. I used to always put myself down. You suck. You're dumb. Oh, horrible, horrible self-talk. Hello. And I just don't like it. It made me depressed. So I kind of made a decision. I'm like, hey, I'm always going to speak positively to myself. That doesn't mean everything's always positive. One of the things I've learned in my mental health journey, in order to keep mentally healthy, you have to actually register your emotions. So I've always struggled crying. I've always struggled with sadness. This big wall goes up. I remember the amount of times I've like broken up with girlfriends and they're crying and it sucks. And in my mind, I'm like, I wonder what I'm having for dinner. Like something weird happens. It just comes all over me and I can't think about the sad thing. So I've been working on that a lot, because I'll tell you what happened. when I got made redundant from my radio job, I went home. I was on government paychecks. I was doing nothing. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was in my old bedroom when I was a kid. And I just got this moment of clarity going, dude, you're 30, you're single, you're unemployed, and you're living with your parents. Like somewhere along the way, there was a sliding doors moment, and you picked the wrong door. So I made a change that night to say, right, I want an abundant life. I want abundance in my life. I want love. I want happiness. I want wealth. I want exciting times. I want to experience emotion. And I want to make the right decisions because life is very short. And I've only been thinking about that in the last few years. It sounds morbid. Again, the word I don't like. That's why I don't like comorbidities. But it does sound morbid to think about death. And I've been thinking, oh yeah, that's going to happen in like 50 years. I'm 30. Ooh, I'm 32 now. So anyway, I'm like, you know what? I've had an amazing first 3 decades. I want the next 5 to be incredible. And I want to be making the right choices for the right life decisions and I want abundance. I just want an abundant life. Anyway, so this is my first attempt at a live video that failed because this is recording on my phone. And I'm working at a good friend of mine who I used to work with on one of the TV shows. She has an awesome production company type business that make videos and makes content for children in hospital, and it's made for the kids, by the kids. And she's invited me to just go along and work in the office with them because I work in my unit and it can be incredibly boring when I'm not giving talks. So I am almost there. And I think I will start that fitness playlist. Oh, right. Have a good day.